MTGPodcast, the Magic the Gathering CDH podcast. I'm Cardboard Cryptid.
I'm the Gaming Ghost.
On today's episode, we'll discuss how we got a top 16 placement at the Boil, a 268-person tournament in New Orleans.
There's a lot of people there, a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
I had a lot of walking around and being like, "You're here!" Get handshakes and hugs and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, Land Go did a really good job of putting on the event and getting 300 plus people, because it wasn't just CDH, it was also other tournaments too, in such a small spot. I saw the spot and it wasn't small, but you wouldn't look at that spot and go, oh, there's 300 people here plus vendors plus all of this. And I'm a big boy. I didn't feel like I was crushed against the table. There were times where I was it's going to be a little bit hard for me to get to my seat, but I wasn't rubbing my butt against a bunch of people.
Yeah, there was a couple of instances where I was like, we're going to get a little close, guy.
Yeah.
And, people laugh it off.
Yeah.
Or they move around. It's not bad.
Yeah. One of us got top 16. If you're in the Discord, this has already been spoiled, but we'll try to, for the podcast, leave it unspoiled till the end. I will say both of us got to day 2, so that's an accomplishment by itself. One of us undefeated day 1. One of us top 16. Maybe not the same. Who knows? Before we get into it, let's go into the shuffle up. We had our trivia episode as our last episode. I do have one correction from that episode. So question 1 was wrong, kinda. So Kinnon's first ability is a trigger, but it's a triggered mana ability, so it doesn't use the stack. So it is a trigger, but you can't respond to it. So it just immediately happens. So you can't get in there in between Kinnon generating the mana, which makes sense. I know that that's how the game works, but there was another more popular podcast that had been oh yeah, we just realized this today and this is how it works. And I was just they're popular, they should know, right? So I just kind of adopted what they had said, and then they never issued a retraction. So I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, also, nobody really responds to that.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. Really, the only thing people respond to is the basalt untap going on the stack. Yeah.
I've gotten to a point where I'm scared, and I'll be like, all right, I put an untap on the stack.
Yeah.
And I'll wait, and I'll look at everybody. I'll look at me. I'm just like, cool. I do it.
Yeah. This podcast, they engage with the game to victory. Not throwing any names out there. Yeah. So my bad. I should have known that one. It was just I heard it from somebody else, so I was like, yeah, I believe that. Charlotte Cardwell 4 says, I love the trivia episode. Always excited for y'all to come out with new videos. So thank you very much. Wizard Whimsy says, summary dismissal also exiles all spells and abilities from the stack. That is true. That is not a CDH card, though. That's why I didn't include it. There's also that new Glenalendra's whatever from Lorwyn that does the same thing, but it costs two colorless and 2 blue.
Yeah.
So it's 4 mana, but you exile all spells and abilities off the stack, and then you make fairies. So it's the same as summary dismissal, and people still aren't running it because it's 4 mana.
The four makes it hard. And I mean, I don't even know if people would use Mind Break if it was.
Yeah, if it had cost 4. Yeah.
It just mana. Everything is so mana efficient that it's hard to get through that.
Yeah. Friends of the channel, Clever Impersonator, said Q6 Armageddon destroys lands. Staple in pre-modern, which more sheep people should play. Love the video, learn a lot. Minus 1 point to you, because you'd said Armageddon and Toxic Deluge, but you meant Wrath or Damnation and Toxic Deluge. So I'm taking 1 point from your score.
I hate that. I hate that when we play together, you'll know what I'm saying even if I say it wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God dang it.
I mean, Wrath and Armageddon is the same thing, you know.
Pretty close, yeah.
Cedric Minoki 2471. I think that sounds like Mononoke. So if I did that wrong, please let me know. Fun episode. I learned a bit of trivia. Always a good lesson. Also, thanks for the shout out. Hope you guys did awesome at the boil. See, the trick is if every time you thank us for the shout out, you'll always get a shout out.
Every time.
Yeah.
We look for those.
We did do awesome at the boil, and now we're going to talk about it. Command Crash Tournaments, MTG, says, this was great. Thank you. They also said the first 15 questions, I got nearly all of them right and was feeling good. After that, strictly downhill and not good. Yeah, the last 15 questions were like very sweaty. Like I would expect people to not get those. And then Kyle Wheeler 1821 says, great episode, guys. That trivia episode, put a lot of work into it, made a 56 slide PowerPoint just for it. If you guys like it, please leave a comment, leave a like. If you guys kind of blow that one up, we'll definitely do another one. It's doing okay right now. I think that's going to be one of those where it's like maybe not get so many views when it first comes out, but like throughout the year, it'll get like a couple clicks every now and then.
Kind of evergreenish.
Yeah. And if you listen to that one and you're listening to this one now, thank you. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, we always appreciate you guys.
That's it for the new comments. Just a reminder that there's a link tree in the description on the YouTube episode and the podcast. We also have our TCG player. If there's any decks that you hear about that we went against that you're like, ooh, I kind of want to check those out, and you end up ordering some singles, or, you know, you catch the Dina bug, please use our TCG player link. No cost to you, even if you just like click the link and you're like, oh, I'm just going to look at some cards. And then you go, never mind, I'm not going to buy anything today. It still lets them know that we sent you there, and it kind of grows our relationship with them. So thank you so much. And then just a reminder, if you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe the video. If you're on podcasts, please rate us 5 stars and set us to auto download. We have gotten a couple 1-star reviews. I really hope that person thought that we were number 1, so they gave us 1 star. It happens sometimes, though. We're not for everybody, and that's okay. I've had people be like, "Yeah, I like your podcast, but it's too long. Like, I only really want to listen to like 15 or 30 minutes of a subject." And I'm just like, "You're at the wrong place, buddy. I don't know."
Yeah, it's kind of hard because we I think that we're more for somebody that's driving or
works from home.
From home, yeah.
Or just, you know, what I used to do is I would have like a 15 to 20 minute commute both ways. So every day I could listen to about 45 minutes of a podcast. So I would put on a podcast and go, oh, this is 4 hours. I'm not going to have to like touch my radio all week. And then at the end of the week, I would finish the podcast, and I was just like, okay, I listened to a 4-hour podcast just on my commute to and from home. So
yeah,
that was always really nice. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Let's talk about how we did at the boil. One thing before we start our round 1 was, I meant to say this in the beginning, but it's really crazy to like play with friends because we'll go to like Houston and we'll go to a tournament, and then there's people that we know there, like a lot of people we know, a lot of people that we like hang out with outside of cards. And then we'll go to New Orleans, which is 7 hours away from Houston almost. And then they'll be there. And like, to me, it's kind of like I sidestep into like a pocket universe where we play tournaments. And then like people will be like, oh, hey, you're here. And I'm like, yeah, of course I'm here. I love playing cards. And like, they're trying to say like, oh, hey, you also drove 6 or 7 hours to be here. You know, like for some reason, like it doesn't pop into my head whenever I look at people that I'm like, oh, I play you in Houston, and then we traveled 7 hours, both of us, and now we're both in New Orleans. Like, I'd say there was a good 20 people there we knew, almost like a tenth of the tournament, which is, you know, crazy. Like,
Yeah, I'll comment a little bit later on this.
Okay.
In a more specific realm. However, as far as going in day one, I looked around and I was like, almost like at school when you have all of your groups of friends around.
Yeah.
I was like, man, everybody's here.
Yeah,
I walked over and like shook everybody's hand and
Yeah. I mean, it drew a lot of people. There were 268 people there. Like, I'm amazed that everybody found parking because, like, that little parking lot that we parked in did not seem like it was going to hold everybody. I mean, even day two, there was like, what, 150 people there or something like that?
it was like tournament 2.
Yeah. And, like, there was a redemption event. Like, some people actually dropped around 7 because they were like, there's no way I can win, like, and get into top 16. And then they just played a second tournament, and people were like, are you going to do that? And I was like, no. I'm done. Like, I got one more round, and then I want to go home. Like,
Yeah. I think even more than that, like, because we've been to quite a few tournaments that are, let's say 60 plus.
yeah.
Right. That's like a sweet spot for a day 2-ish type of thing almost happening.
Yeah.
And we'll get to a place and doesn't really matter where the hotel is. We'll see people in the hotel playing cards.
Yeah. And I don't even know if they're actually in the tournament. I think they just like playing cards. Like,
Well, like some of them are.
some of them are. Yeah.
I've seen some tournament players like playing the night before or something.
Oh, in Vegas. Yeah.
All over. Like, well, even at our hotel when we went to the Boil, there was some people playing the end of day 1 going into day 2 type of that night.
Yeah.
They were there.
And I was like, I want to get food. I want to go sleep. I'm done with cards. Like,
I closed I don't even think I lasted 30 minutes laying down.
I couldn't tell you. I remember I do what I preach, and I bring a electrolyte drink for every single day whenever I'm doing a tournament. And I remember I didn't drink it in the morning because I had my energy drink. So I was like, I better drink this like now. And I drank it, and I went to sleep, and I did not go use the bathroom before I went to sleep. So I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was like, all right, I need to use the bathroom because I drank a huge thing of electrolytes. And I'm laying there and I'm thinking about one of my rounds, and I was just like, I could have won. I misplayed that. And like, I'm not even really sure I could have won, but it was funny because I was like having those like 2 a.m. like, oh no, you actually could have won this round. You screwed yourself over. Was there any pre stuff, or you want to get into round 1?
I would say if you've never been to a tournament that's kind of substantial, think about going. The community's great.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I can't really stress it enough. Like, you'll meet a bunch of really great people that all just love the game you play. Like, ultimately. I
mean, I'm not gonna say that I got heated with some people, but we got into some pretty like intense arguments, and like not clearly not screaming, but it was like, hey, you're gonna win. They're like, no, I'm not. And then I'm like, I don't believe you. I'm just gonna remove this. And then after, they're like, yeah, it's fine. I get it. But in my round 1, so I entered Dina number 1. I'm not gonna say I'm off of Rocco, but I just got kind of tired of Rocco. And whenever I was in the Dallas Excalibur tournament, I felt pretty powerless on day 2. Like, I just felt like I was outclassed every time I would get into a round. And I was just like, I really shouldn't be running a deck that whenever I get early wins, I get into the better pods, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, these are all losses. So I've been messing around with Dina, and she's really fun. First and foremost, she's really fun. Like, is she the best deck out there? Definitely not. Is she the best Golgari deck out there? Maybe. I mean, I don't know what other Golgari commander there is. But she kind of poops on Rhystic Study, and she poops on Guy's Cradle decks, which is nice. So
she's pretty scary too.
Yeah, and she just pushes wins. Like, it's interesting to play her because usually I'm used to being like, all right, well, I have win in hand, but it's like this is not my window, so like I shouldn't push. But with Dina, it's like, I have win in hand, and this fails, I have win in hand next turn too. So I'll just try it. Like as long as my Entomb effect goes through, I'm pretty good. Protein Hulk will be where I want him to be, and that's all that matters. So my round 1, I was seat 1 on Dina, and then seat 2 was Rogthras. Seat 3, also Rogthras. Seat 4, Rowan. And this Rowan made it to top 16. So immediately, very sweaty pod. The problem with this pod was, even in seat 1, Dina's not going to outspeed Rogthras. Rogthras is always going to kind of be ahead. I did try to mulligan for a culling ritual because that's really at the end of the day what I need in that case. Didn't get it, went down to 6, and I was like, this is a decent 6. I can't really go down farther. I had a Boseiju, a couple things to stop them. I probably should have just went down to 5. It was my first round, and I'm not going to say that I was intimidated, but 2 Rogthrases is hard. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I could stop one of them, but then the other one just keeps going. And it was a good mix of late game, early game. I couldn't really see like a obvious win in hand, which means I probably should have went down to 5. But it was one of those rounds that the more I was playing it, the more I was just like, this is getting out of hand. I started off pretty strong, and then Rogthras number 1 was just like huge board presence. Basically, it was just missing Gaia's Cradle. Rogthras number 2 had 2 Rhystic Studies, and they got a Gaia's Cradle. And I was able to Force of Vigor their Rhystic Study, and then something else from the other Rogthras that didn't really mean too much. So I trimmed him down, and then they both had Magus of the Candelabra and a Gaia's Cradle. And I was just like, oh, okay, guys, like this is getting out of hand. I had a Boseiju in hand, and I was able, the Rogthras number 2 was pushing really hard, and he presented a second Gaia's Cradle. So I was just like, I gotta trim one of these. I don't really want to trim you and then let the other one go, but unfortunately you've pushed the hardest, the fastest. And if I don't do this, I feel like you're going to win, which was right, because we went to Rowan's turn, and then they had played the Lord of the Rings card, Born Upon a Wind, and they were going to try to win on Rowan's turn. And Rowan had gotten to the point where they had taken like 3 damage, and all of their spells were a lot lower. So we pretty much, I looked at the Rogthras to my left that wasn't winning, and I was just like, hey, Rowan, I think the best thing you can do is push. Because they had said, like, I can push. I don't promise I'm not going to win on my turn. But I'll push if you guys let me. And if I get to the point where I can kind of show a win, I'll offer a tie. And then we were like, yeah, that seems fair. Rogthras had like shown that they had interaction to stop Rowan. And we were in a point where we had to play on top of the Born Upon a Wind, and Rowan started doing Rowan things, drawing a lot of cards, copying spells on the stack. It was like a 30-40 minute fight. And they had admitted, they were like, hey, I'm not the best against Rogthras. Like, how about you guys kind of just, I show you my hand and you guys tell me what you think is the best here? Because if we're all trying to go for a tie minus, the other guy that's ahead, how about we all work together? And we worked with him pretty good. Got him to the point where he probably could have won, but he had decimated the Rogthras number 2 so much that, they were not winning anymore, even with the Born Upon a Wind resolving. So we all kind of looked at each other after 30 or 40 minutes, and it was just like, Rowan's probably going to win here. They said that they wouldn't, as long as we helped them and didn't counter their stuff. They're keeping to that agreement. I don't really feel like I'm going to get another turn if I don't tie here. No one's really in a place to win anymore. Let's go ahead and tie. So my round one ended in a tie.
So I'm gonna go kind of like some side information on this. I didn't keep detailed notes on some of these matches. I pretty much, as you'll see through my day one, it was a little bit of a struggle. So my first round, I ended up seat 4, and I don't remember the seat 1. Seat 2 was Lumra, which I stopped pretty quickly. Like, I did a force of will in seat 4, and I told the other two guys, I was like, hey, I feel like this Lumra wins here if it resolves. Like, I don't want to counter it, but that's where we're at.
It's like I don't want to lose more. So
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I was so far out of everything that it didn't matter. But I ended up force of willing the Lumra just because their turn 1 was like mana rock into a mana vault into like some colors, and I was like, oh man, we can't let this happen. Like, I've got to take it off the stack, and ended up force of willing it. And then it just went into a drag out. Like, Lumra was completely out of the game. Seat 3 was prepared to win. They resolved a Seedborn Muse, and I tried to copy it. They overloaded a Psych Rift on my upkeep. With that being said, I was like, hopefully we can get to a point to draw. That was my whole goal. Like, I had a couple more counters and some interaction to kind of disrupt as much as I could. But I had to let somebody get to a point where they had a win on the stack. And me and seat 1 were working together pretty much the whole game. Unfortunately, I don't want to say there was no like agreement or anything, so they were going to try to win. Like, it was clear at that moment. Halfway through their win, time was called, and seat 3 countered the spell and was trying to like born on top of it or something. And I ended up was like, hey, I have a counter too. Like, draw. And they were like, yeah, we'll draw this out. So my round 1 ended up in a draw as well. When I looked through the thing, did you know you're at 4? Like, your table was 40 and mine was 41.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we were sitting right. Oh, but so I was on the end and you were on the end. Yeah. So we almost did meet up.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: we did not have to go against each other.
Yeah, at all.
Finally. Yeah.
It only took 268 players.
Yeah. The other thing to kind of kick off this conversation is Ghost was supposed to be a featured match at the Dallas Excalibur event, and then didn't because somebody in his pod, he had played the round before, so they just rematched the pod due to error. So I looked at Ghost and I went, we're due for a feature match. And when I said that, I was thinking one of us. But yeah, we'll get there. But starting out the event, I looked at Ghost and I was like, we're gonna get a feature match this time. So round 1, we both ended with 1 point.
Yeah.
Round 2, I was against Rogsai. Me on seat 2, which, I mean, Rogsai seat 1, already pretty scary, Rogthras again on seat 3, and then Blue Farm on seat 4. Rogsai being on seat 1 was like off to the races. They kept a really good hand. They didn't have to go down very low to get there. They had played Rograth. they'd played Gemstone Mine, the one that comes out with 3 counters on it. And like for me, that was an immediate like, oh, they're gassed up. Like if they're playing a Gemstone Mine as their first land, we're not going to turn 4. You know?
Yeah.
Like they're planning on winning turn 2. And I had kept a Vexing Bauble in my hand because I was like, there's a Rog deck across from me. There's a blue farm on seat 4. And then if I play a Vexing Bauble, I kind of shut off Rogwrath. Like they can play around it, but it makes their win a lot harder. So I look at the table and I'm not 100% sure that I should do it. And I'm kind of looking at my hand and I'm just like, I can be greedy and I can progress my own game, or I can play this Vexing Bauble that really won't affect me. And I'm kind of looking at the table and I'm just like, this is the problem that everybody has against Rogsai. Pretty much everybody's like, well, if Rogsai's here, I got to develop my board. And I was just like, I can't do that. Like that is the fallacy of playing Rogsai. Like you're not going to beat Rogsai in seat 1 as far as like who puts a win on the stack first. So I kind of look at everybody and I'm just like, hey, you know, did you guys keep something for Rogsai? Like, is there something that, you know, you guys can do against Rogsai? Because right now I'm seat 2 and I'm kind of looking at things and I'm Golgari and I'm not going to be able to stop him as far as counters, and he's got Gemstone Mine. So like he's going to push turn 2 or turn 3. And they're like, I don't really want to say what I've got because I'm also afraid of you. But like, if he tries to win on turn 2, there's not a lot I can say about it. And I'm like, cool. I'm going to play a Vexing Bauble. Rogthras, I'm really sorry that you go next. You know, you can't get out your Rog. And then, you know, Blue Farm, seat 4. I don't really think you kept a police hand. So I was like, I'm gonna play this Vexing Bauble and pass. And the Rogthras player is just like kind of looking at his hand, and he's just like, oh man, like my hand's not good anymore. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I mean, would you rather lose turn 2? And he's like, no, you know, you make a fair point. Like I get it. You got to do what's best for you. And I was just like, yeah, you know, best for me, best for all of us. And they go, so if I don't spend mana on a spell, it gets countered, right? And I was like, yeah. So they put down an Ancient Tomb, and then they cast Rogwrath. Rogwrath gets countered. They recast it for 2 using their Ancient Tomb, and they still get Rogwrath out turn 1.
That's funny.
And I was just like, all right, I see it. And he's like, yeah, I got to make the best of the situation. I was like, I get it. Blue Farm also like clearly had some rocks. They're not really able to develop their board very much. Rogsai kind of is the most ahead. I mean, clearly Rogsai is going to be the most ahead in seat 1, which I'm a little worried about. And I can't crack the Vexing Bauble. I don't have anything in hand to do that. So we passed to Rogsai, and Rogsai's like, yep, that Vexing Bauble really hurt. And they don't really do much with their turn. It's clear that they're kind of like winding up, but I felt like they were definitely going to push. I get to my turn. I play Dina, and I have another mana source out. I think it was maybe like an Elvish Spirit Guide. So I put Dina down. My board's not really great for turn 2. You know, in Dina, I want to have like Mana Dorks, or, you know, I want to have 4 mana by turn 2 or 3. Just getting Dina down isn't great, but it's half of what I need for the Protein Hulk combo. I pass to Rogthras. They start developing a little bit farther. They have some dead cards in hand because of the Vexing Bauble. We get to Blue Farm's turn. Blue Farm, you know, still kind of trying to push. They try to drop a Voice of Victory turn 2, and I'm just like, well, I get it, you know, I get it, but Rogsai, you know? And then they're like, oh, it's just a value voice of victory. I was like, I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. So I let Rogsai go. They're still kind of, they're gambling for a breach. So it's kind of clear that they're going to try to breach. I kind of look at the table and I'm looking at, I have a couple zero rocks I have a zero rock in my hand that'll get me back to the game. And I'm like, and I don't have a land drop for the next turn, which is another problem. And I look at the table and I'm just like, I'm hoping you guys kind of saw the Vexing Bauble and you guys accrued some value to where you can stop Rogsai now. Like, they just gambled. Pretty clear that they're going to do breach. They're probably looking for a line side diamond, but I can't keep this Vexing Bauble up anymore. And they were like, no, like if you let go the Vexing Bauble, like we'll have more mana to be able to do stuff. And I was like, I'm also just worried that Blue Farm with their silence is just going to try to jam. Like, you don't put down a silence creature and not try to jam on your next turn. And they're like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to do anything on my next turn. And I was just like, can you tell me right now that you're not going to try to push for a win on your turn? And they're like, well, I can't say that. And I was like, well, if you can't say that while you have a voice of victory out, it has to get removed. I'm sorry, man. So I crack the Vexing Bauble, draw a card, not land on a Rogsai's end step. Go my next turn, draw a card, not land. But I do have a Deadly Rollick in hand, and I have like a Lotus Petal or something like that. So I kind of do a little bit more setup. I pass the turn to Rogthras. We're doing our thing, and Rogthras goes, okay, you know, sets up a little bit more. They're probably in the best position now. And then they into the Floodmaw, the voice of victory. And I'm like, okay, good. You know, like at least we can interact. I was going to remove it with my Deadly Rollick, but I didn't really want to spend my resource on it. And if that person in seat 4 just redropped the voice of victory, I don't think that they could win anyway. So I was like, okay, cool. Not going to say I have removal for it. Yeah. Blue Farm gets to their turn. They drop the voice of victory again, and they're kind of like clearly looking at their cards, like kind of scheming what they're going to do while it's on the stack. And Rogsai passes on it. I pass on it. I had cast like somebody had cast like some blue spell. I can't remember what it was. So Rogthras goes, well, I'm going to play a Veil of Summer just to draw a card. We get to him casting the Veil of Summer, and the person in seat 4 is like, actually, I tapped my mana wrong. And then they try to retap it, and I'm just like, no. Like, you can't recap your mana after everybody has gone around the table and you've seen interaction points. So they try to retap, and I'm just like, I'm just letting you know I'm going to have to call a judge if you try to retap your mana. So we call the judge, and the person's like, well, technically I'd never pass priority. And I was just like, he said that he passed. I said that I passed. The third player cast a Veil of Summer and put it on the stack. If you're holding priority, you need to say something. And if people are passing, you need to react. And the judge basically says is like, all right, well, how things go on the stack is you pay for them and then they go on the stack. So if it's on the stack, you've already paid for it, regardless of if you're holding priority or not. So we'll go back to you holding priority on the spell, but the mana has been cast for it. So you need to retap how it was. And we're like, okay, cool. And then we go to we're like, all right, back to the stack. You're holding priority. What else are you going to put on it? And he was like, well, nothing. I was like, okay. And then he gets to the point where he can't win because he tapped his mana wrong. He's kind of beating himself up over it. Rogsai goes and like they take a really long turn, they kind of try to like Underworld Breach combo, but they get stopped pretty early. We're all kind of looking at the board and we have like 20 minutes left. Rogsai is out of a breach. There's Blue Farm's just kind of tapped out. I show that I have a Deadly Relic for the Voice of Victory, and Rogthras is like, I've drawn into nothing but counters, but no way to win. I'm just like, hey guys, like, I hate to call this so early, but we've got 20 minutes left. Rogsai's not getting another turn. I'm not getting another turn. I can't really push. I can remove the Voice of Victory and set up a little bit, but like, that's it. Rogthras was like, yeah, this was not my game. Blue Farm solved the interaction we had for him and all the counters. He's just like, yeah, let's just report a tie. Like, we all kind of need to just shuffle up and do better in our next round. So, round 2 tie, I'm at 2 points.
So my round 1 was a draw. Round 2, I initially thought I wouldn't remember this one in particular. However, I do. So I ended up being seat 4 for the second time. My seat 1 was an Atali. Seat 2 was an Ashling.
Yeah.
The 5-color Ashling.
5-color Ashling.
And then Blue Farm is 3. And I am on Kennen seat 4. I looked at my hand and I knew I shouldn't police the table. However, I was able to get a couple of pieces out and had a manifold, or not a manifold, a mental misstep. And I was like, okay, so if Atali tries to go, manifold into bunches of things into Atali, which it's a play.
Yeah. I love Mana Vault whenever I'm playing Atali or
I have a counter, right? So pretty much textbook. Atali was like land, Mana Vault, and they were getting ready to tap the Mana Vault, and I was like, before you do anything, hold on.
There are blue players here, pass priority.
The Ashling was like, I ain't got nothing, and then the Blue Farm was like, I'm gonna pass on it, and I was like, I want to politic a little bit, but there's not a whole lot to talk about with an Atali, right?
Yeah.
Like there's.
Well, you weren't even passing priority, man. So yeah, there's not a lot to talk about.
So I looked at them. I looked at everybody, and I'm like, hey guys, again, I think that this is an important place to interact. I wish I wasn't 4-seat doing this interaction. However, I will go ahead and mental misstep this. The Atali goes, shucks, pretty much. And the Ashling player, which kudos to this player, probably the best Ashling I've ever seen. We had talked later on, and I don't know I can't remember if he's like one of the top or if he's like a influential piece to like their Discord or something, but he's a very good player.
Yeah.
It started the game kind of a little strong, a lot of mana rocks and such, and I was like, well, shoot. Like, I stopped Atali to now have second big bad on the field.
Yeah. Ashling's hard to play, but once it gets going, it's resilient because you can just sack your commander to so many spells and just be like, she's back. Like,
yeah. And not only that, but like the plays were so intricate and strange that, you're not just playing not even really a Nature's Rhythm type of play. Like, I'm not playing some detutor or something. It's more of, I'm going to play this elemental fiddle faddle card, and
Yeah.
now I've picked up everything on the field, and
Or I've drawn 5 cards in my turn for some reason, for 4 mana,
exactly. So they set up crazy on turn 2. Blue Farm gets out. He puts some stuff out. Not really anything substantial. And then I put out like a land and a mana dork and like a rock, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I've got some mana. We go back to Atali's turn. Atali rushes out a Treason Choker and plops an Atali on the field.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man.
For 21 life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From there, it ended up being a lot of politicking and a lot of really Ashling getting the better of each politic, and then resetting our boards to where we didn't have much.
I feel like that Atali flip would also be pretty terrible because it's like you have clones, so like they could hope to hit that, but like Ashling is a bunch of junk for them. Blue Farm is a bunch of counters and junk for them, really. Like,
yeah, they didn't really get anything from me.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Lotus Petal or something.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
The only thing I would really worry about at that table is them flipping into a clone from you, and that's about it. So
yeah. Well, come to find out, once Ashling hit the field, like there wasn't a lot of interaction or anything until Ashling hit the field. And then once Ashling hit the field, there was like obscure, weird spells that are played. They resolved an Emrakul at one point.
Yeah.
Which, like, long story short, Atali got killed by an Emrakul at some point. Me and the Blue Farm player, as soon as Atali died, looked at each other and were like, we've got to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I am not the first person to get beat down, but I cannot set up anything because everything is getting countered or picked up.
Yeah.
And once you're dead, I will be hit.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So I tutored for a card because it was getting to the end of the game and Ashling was about to have a turn. And I picked up I can't remember if it was Force of Will or Force of Negation. It had to be Force of Negation because it didn't counter a creature.
Yeah.
That being said, the play was probably to get Mindbreak or something because they were cascading a lot of things.
Yeah.
This game ended with Ashling pretty much dominating the last few turns and then just swinging out and killing us.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah.
And their board was Silly Town. Like it was Emrakul, some big elemental, Ashling, like
sounds like they had the one that all of your creature spells have cascade and they have haste.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maelstrom elemental.
It was nasty.
Yeah. I wasn't running that one specifically for that problem where it's like I'm putting a lot of stuff out. I'm not winning. Like.
I think the Emrakul started to make it a lot better because, like, they took the turn of the Atali.
Yeah, and then just killed their life total with treasonous.
Well, the Atali was like, "Oh no, let me get this treasonous off the field or something." Yeah. So they were able to get the treasonous off the field, and like dead. So it wasn't in their hand or something.
Yeah.
But the Emrakul Ashling player had the Atali player do actions to make them draw and just increase their position.
Yeah.
It was it was weird for me to see a deck have so much value that wasn't like Kennen.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm getting buried here.
I mean, the way that deck wins is Underworld Breach combo or like this elemental loop that's really clunky.
That's what ended up winning it.
Yeah. Because you can just keep making infinite elementals, and then you move to combat, and then you swing out.
I think that they didn't swing out. I think it ended up being like I do something and you take a damage type of move. But needless to say, I lost that round. So now I'm at 1 point and 1 loss.
Yeah. Round 3, I had a really strange pod. So it was Joda the Unifier, 5-color Joda, on seat 1. And they had went to 5. So they I'm not going to say that they weren't seat 1 anymore because they still had a gas hand, but they went down to 5. I was on Dina, seat 2, another Rogthras, which I was so sick of seeing Rogthras. And then Kenrith in seat 4, which like Kenrith seat 4 is tough. Joda sets up pretty heavily. They've got a lot of mana rocks. They've got a lot of mana on the field, but don't really have anything other than that. I go, my turn 1 was a land, Lotus Petal, tap the land for Carpet of Flowers, and then I vamp tutored with the Lotus Petal on my opponent's end step for an Entomb. Because I'm looking at my hand and I'm like, I can just Entomb, reanimate P-Hulk and be good. Not much happens except, clearly Rogthras has their commander out, and then Joda gets their commander out. So no, Joda does more setup on turn 2. So on turn 2, I draw Entomb. I play Dina. I leave up a land for Entomb, and then after Joda sets up, gets her commander out, I'm just like, ooh. I'm an Entomb on end step for P-Hulk. I cast Entomb, and the entire table is like, yeah, I didn't keep anything for this. Like, I don't have any counters. And I'm like, no one has any counters. Like, I didn't expect Joda to, because Joda had no hand. I thought Rogthras would have something. Everybody was tapped out, but I had to assume that there was a Fierce Guardianship or something. So I Entomb on end step for P-Hulk. Turn 3, get to my turn. I reanimate P-Hulk, sack it with Dina, and it's so early in the game that I have everything in my library. And I'm like, hey, if I sack P-Hulk, this is a win. Now that his trigger's on the stack, do you guys want me to play it out? And they're like, yeah, might as well. So I was like, okay, if you're making me play it out, I'm going to do the long one. I go get Activated Sleeper, which turns into Protein Hulk. I get Sylvan Safekeeper in case anybody feels like swords in me or, doing something silly. I go get enough creatures to fill out the 6 after that. Sack the Protein Hulk. The Activated Sleeper copy of Protein Hulk to get another trigger. Bring out Warren Soul Trader, Blood Artist, and the Gravecrawler. There's also the other skeleton that has a cowboy hat. I never remember his name because, like, by the time I see him, I'm winning the game anyway. So
Tiny Bones, maybe?
No, it's the one that instead of casting, every time you commit a crime, you pay black and then you put him on the field. So you can just loop it with Blood Artist and Warren Soul Trader.
I don't remember.
But I'm feeling pretty good because round 3, and I'm locked in for day 2 in round 3. So I have 7 points with a win, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I would really like to amass more points today, but at the very least, I'm locked in with 7. And then we'll go to you.
So a reminder, I am 1 draw.
Yeah.
1 loss.
So reminder, one of us went undefeated day 1, and one of us went to top 16. So we can assume I went undefeated day 1 at this point.
So I go into round 3, and I'm not going to say I was upset. There's still a lot of tournament left,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I was like, man, that was a loss. It was an Ashling, blah, 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 blah. So this one is going to be less necessarily about the game itself and more about what happened when I sat down. So initially, I'm seat 1 as Kennen. There's a seat 2 as Raoul. Seat 3, I do not remember what they had. And seat 4 was Rogthras? It was Rogthras. We sit down. Everybody's saying their hellos. The TO comes out and he's like, hey, I need to speak with this person. We're like, oh, okay. So they walk to the side, speak for a minute. Realistically, probably like 10 minutes. He comes back and is like, oh, you know, it was whatever I said at my last round, whatever. They're going to investigate it or something's happening. So we're like, okay, well, shuffle up, mulligans. That's what we're kind of getting ready to do. We get our mulligans down. As soon as the last person finishes mulliganing, T.O. comes back. It's like, hey, I need to speak with you. So we're like, we just finished our mulligans.
Cool. Yeah.
And, you know, I believe it's Baldy. I believe that's the name of the dude. That's the TO.
So he's the TO for Excalibur. Lay and Go is something different, but they kind of work in tandem with each other.
I believe it was Baldy. Let's go with that.
This is his name. We're not making fun of him.
No. Yeah, of course.
He just happens to be bald.
Long beard, bearded guy. I guess I could say that.
Yeah.
I think his name is Baldy though. Anyway, he comes up. And they sit over there and they speak for a good 20 minutes, maybe 30. And we're all like, you know, are we getting an extension? They had a judge sit at this so there was a judge with us while this is happening because the cards are on the table. You know, nobody's cheating or whatever. Yeah. But the judge is like, "Oh, you are going to get an extension for this. Like this is going to go. You're going to have all of the time you need to play." Player gets done talking to the TO, walks over, grabs his stuff, and gets escorted out.
Yeah.
And TO is like, hey, this is now a 3-person pod. You can re-mulligan. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
So the reason, not to say anything upset about seat 4 mulliganing again, but they went down to like 4 cards.
Yeah. They were probably out of it. But
and I'm thinking to myself, well, they're looking at 7 times 6 hands or whatever they're going to now, you know? Yeah. What I mean? So they're seeing like half of their deck in their hand. They still mulligan to 5.
Yeah.
We start the game. Seat 4 is like, hey, I'm out of this. We should draw. Like,
no.
Raoul is I have counters. I have things to try to stop you. My goal is to draw this game because there's no way for me to get anywhere.
The person that went down to 5, what were they playing?
Rogthras.
Okay. And there's so many Rogthrases.
So, with some, I may not be painting this picture exactly right, but Raoul was in the best position at this pod at this moment.
Yeah. I mean, 3-player Raw Pod is what you want in a Storm deck.
Offers the draw, nobody takes it. I honestly was like, you know what? I'm okay with it. A 3-pod isn't great for me. I don't want to continue. I am okay with the draw at this moment. As the game goes, I will get more aggressive.
Yeah.
So like
right now, yes.
Raul's like, I have no reason.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Which, I mean, respect. Like, yeah.
We play it out more. I am amassing mad value. Raul tries to win, gets countered by Rogthras. I'm looking at my turn going in, and I'm like, okay. I think that I don't have any tutors or anything in hand, but I do have spins, right? Like I can spin once a turn, which is not great for an mostly MBC list, but there's always the chance. Like, let's say I hit a Con Sphinx.
Yeah, at least you have something, yeah.
Rogthras draws their card. Is like, I've got a Necro Dominance. Like, I'm going to rip here. Are y'all sure you don't want to draw?
Rogthras has a Necro Dominance? You mean Thrastimna?
No, hold on.
Because that's blue, green, red.
Was it Rogthras? It had to be. You know what? It was Thrastimna.
Yeah,
it had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't as aggressive.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
If they weren't led in the field with creatures, then
That's right. Yeah, my bad. I played so many Thrasioses.
There
I was
were
just
a ton
like
of Rogthras. Like,
the Raul is like, hey, I've been pretty much blown out. I am okay with a draw. And I look at them both and I'm like, I don't know if I want to draw.
Yeah.
And we talk about it for a minute. I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at what's going on. I'm like, if I draw here, I get a minute to kind of break. This was already kind of a stressful game. There's a lot of things going on. I want to see what I would get. Can we play it out? Like, if we draw here, can we play it out? I want to see if I would win here. And they're like, nah, I'd rather go get lunch.
I was about to say, yeah.
it was lunchtime.
Yeah.
That's kind of where everything was happening. And
we had no lunch break. We
were just grinding. Yeah. The Thrastimna was like, hey, if I agree to this, are we cool drawing? And I'm like, yeah. So they pretty much just passed their turn to me and was like, go ahead. Good for me because I looked at the top like 5 or 6 cards. I had nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like an elf. 3 turns I would have had to have to get something. So we ended up drawing.
I have a wild side story for what happened too after round 3. I don't know if I told you this, but so you got a tie. You were done with yours.
I'm a tie. 1 loss, 2 ties, 2 points.
Yeah, and I'm over here like, oh, I'm in for day 2, yay!
Oh yeah.
So I beat my pod in 10 minutes, and someone also was like, hey, you guys just want to play for fun since we were done so quickly, and I went, no, I want to go get lunch. I don't even know if we have a lunch break. So I get my stuff, I walk out of the hotel, and there's like a chicken place that's around the corner. It's like a 8-minute walk. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, 8 minutes, 30 minutes to get my food, 8 minutes to come back, 20-ish minutes to walk back up there and eat. I can do that. So I walk out, I go to this place, and it's like, it's called like Yay Chicken or something like really like awkward. So I go and I walk over there. I look behind me, and one of the guys that's in my pod is behind me, and he's just like, yeah, thanks for beating us like so quickly. I really appreciate it. Like, I'm really glad that we can get lunch. And there's a guy that's like tapping his foot, hand on the counter, like visibly irritated. And there's a woman that's there taking orders, and she's like taking her time, like super, I guess like lethargic would be the best way to explain it. Like every time I'm like, yeah, I would like to get a like shrimp basket. And it's like shrimp basket as they're like typing it in. And I'm in line for a little bit. The two people in front of me order. They're also from the tournament. It was the closest place, so like everybody flocked there. I get my order in. Granted, I've been sitting in line for like 15 minutes by the time I get my order in. And after I order, there's 4 people behind me. And the guy that like owns the place, I guess, or was manager on duty, comes out and he's like, stop taking orders. We're too busy. And they just go, yeah, you guys that have been in line, you guys can't get food. And turns them around. And I'm just like, oh man, I feel kind of bad. You know, I'm the last person in line, but I'd ordered a big shrimp basket. And then I knew that since you play blue, you were not getting a lunch break. So I was like, there's like a $10 chicken wing barbecue basket. Like, I'll get him that. Worst case, it's a snack. And he also gets lunch. Like, I don't think he's getting a lunch break though. And like, I need the food. Like, we had an okay breakfast. You'd come in pretty late Friday night, and then like immediately we were like at the tournament. So I was like, I'll order for you two. And while I'm waiting for my food, the guy that's at the counter just starts throwing a fit. And he's just like, I called in my order, and I've seen people that came in here after me walk through the line, get their order and walk out. Do you think that's fair? And blah, blah. And like starts kind of like getting in this person's face. And like, she does not care like at all. Like, and I'm sitting there, and it's getting to the point where it's like not so heated that I feel the need to interject, but like he's yelling at this like kind of elderly woman, like not like I feel like he's about to go across the counter, but like he's upset and yelling at an elderly woman. You know? Yeah. So I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, oh man, I really don't want to have to get involved in this. Like, and then I get my stuff, and I didn't get my drink, and I'm like, hey, you know, I got a drink with this. Can I get my drink? And they take like, fill up the cup, ice cube by ice cube, like walk it over. Even the spout, they don't bring the spout all the way down. So they're pouring it at like 25% speed. That's crazy. And I was just like, oh my God, am I even going to be able to eat? And the guy had his like flare up, I guess. And after like watched me, and like for sure I was in there like way after he had been in, because he called in his order. Watches me get my shrimp, and I got like, you know, 2 things. I got shrimp and like chicken wings. Watches me get my stuff, get my drink, and walk out, and he's just like shaking his head, and like, and I was just like, ah, man, I don't really like that he's like yelling at this woman, but also at the same time, like, I get it, like, you know, like she's going so slow, and then they were like, what's going on? Why are we getting so much business? This is bad. And I was just like, I was like, there's a tournament across the street. Like, there's like 300 people that are probably going to be coming in for food today. And they're like, oh, we're going to have to put a sign at the door that we're like not taking any more orders.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I walk back, find you, drop off the food with you. And then I eat my shrimp and my French fries. And like, that hit the spot more than like anything has ever hit the spot during the tournament. Like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like kind of in shrimp heaven.
So, funny story. The whole time, anytime I had any free time in this tournament, I was looking for cards. Like, I was like picking through all of my like upgrades for my deck. And I finished that round, And I'm like, I'm going to go look to see if they have a foil mana vault. Like, that's what I'm looking for.
And like, props to you, because like I cannot see any more cards after like 5 rounds of like Magic.
So I'm looking, I'm trying to sift through everything, and I'm not realizing that like I've got like foggy brain.
Yeah.
And I got like a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around.
It's just food.
And you're like, here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of want to hug you. And I go, what? You know, I don't even care what it is. Like, and I open it up, and the smell, I was like, oh my God, this is like barbecue coated wings or something.
Yeah.
Like, I am so, like, I devoured this.
I remember kind of just walking out because I was like, I want to hit the bathroom like before the round starts. And I walk out, and you're leaning against the wall. And I look, and it's just bones, like, and not even like a little bit of like skin and meat, like literally like bones, like in a cartoon. And you're just leaning against the wall with your eyes closed, just.
It was
funny because it was one of those things where I was just like, if one of us succeeds, both of us succeeds. I'm getting him lunch.
I forgot all about the heaven I was in for a moment. Like, I finished that, and I was like, I don't want to touch anybody. Like, I've got barbecue hands on both hands. Like, I don't even know how I did that. But like, I shuffled to the restroom, and like, I had barbecue sauce on my chin. Like, I was like,
you looked like you were in heaven.
And like, I woke up, like, pretty much like immediately woke up, and I was like, all right, let's get this.
I mean, for context, this is going to be like a fast forward, but like when we were driving back from the tournament, I was so mentally fatigued because I was like co-piloting so that we could get back to the hotel. Because like between us, we had one brain cell. And we missed a lot of turns too. And it was funny because like I was there, I kept looking at my phone, and I kept confusing my left from my right. And like, that's not something I normally do. Or like I would get lost in conversation, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, we were supposed to take that exit 2 miles ago. My bad. Like we were spent. And like, that's with lunch. I can only imagine if we did not have lunch.
I was refreshed after the lunch break.
Yeah. It was good. You want to go in round 2 now? Or did you have? Or sorry, round 4.
Yeah. Okay. It was round 4.
Who was going first? Was it you or me?
You were going first.
Okay. All right. I'll go in round 4. Speaking of one brain cell between us. So my round 4 was Rogthras seat 1, Kinnan seat 2, Timna Malcolm seat 3, who I play against a lot in Houston, and then me on seat 4. And this Rogthras got in the top 16 as well. So I played 2 people that got in the top 16 minimum. That's the ones that I noticed. And Rogthras was like out the gate swinging, like crazy value. Had a Displacer kitten. Man, I keep forgetting the name of this. The wizard that whenever it comes in, you can go get a 2-cost spell. Spellseeker. Had kitten, Spellseeker, Thrasios, Rog, and was just like every time they countered something, could go fish a new counter out of their deck. It was wild. So they're kind of off to the races. Timna Malcolm has a Bowmaster and the white creature that doubles triggers. I'm forgetting the name of these cards.
Delaney.
Yeah. And like Timna and Malcolm, like they're also off to the races. Kinnan also off to the races. They spun Kinnan because they were like behind, and I'm saying behind in quotation marks. And they hit the big giant dinosaur. That's a Ristic Remora. Nezahal, yeah. And I'm just like looking at my field, and I'm just like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do here? Like I feel like a tie is like the best thing I can do. And I'm looking at my hand, and I'm just like, I have an early natural order that I can do. I don't think it's going to go through. There's been a lot of counter spells though. So maybe the Timna Malcolm player had kind of showed me their hand because there was a lot of argument that I had like some form of interaction and they were like, no, you should use it on Timna Malcolm. And they were like, I have 3 lands like in my hand right now. And I had been blocking as many Timna attackers as I could because with Delaney on the field, like every creature that I lost was 2 cards not in their hand. And I was trying to tell the table, like, I know that you'll go down in value, but we need to keep cards and treasures, out of their hand. Like they're really set up with double Delaney Malcolm triggers, Timna, and Bowmasters. And it's kind of crazy. And I just kind of look at the field and I'm like, I feel like they're just all exhausted. Like they all slapped each other. And I've just kind of been watching and I can come in and like, get the KO on everybody. So I have natural order and I'm like, I can sack this Land of War Elves, go get Protein Hulk, win if it resolves. So I put a natural order on the stack. Nobody has anything. Rogthras passes immediately. Kinnan is kind of sitting there and he's like, I don't really have anything. And then Rogthras looks at them and goes, okay, you don't have anything. What about Timna Malcolm? He's like, I showed him my hand. I have 3 lands. And then Rogthras was like, okay, well, if you guys don't have anything, I have something. And starts going to cast something. I was like, you passed, bro. Like that, you don't get to pass and then afterwards regret it and then be like, I'm gonna do a counter. And I'm like being pretty firm on this. And to his credit, he was like, yeah, I did pass. I tried. Kinnan's like, I can cast something to reset priority, but that's it. And they cast Dramatic Reversal to get some more mana. And I'm like, oh no, they have mana. And I mean, they legitimately just did not have anything and did not have enough for a Kinnan spin either. So we get back to Rogthras and they're like, what I can do is I can sacrifice my Rog to flare the natural order. They don't have to sacrifice anything because it's an additional cost to cast. And they can go get a green creature from their deck. And when they do this, they have a Displacer Kitten trigger. And the only counter that they have left in their deck that can stop the natural order is a Pact. So they put a Flicker from Displacer Kitten onto their wizard. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can do here. And this was something that kind of like hit my head after. Whenever they cast that spell, Nezahal triggered and they had to draw. And Orcish Bowmaster put 2 on the Displacer Kitten because they were like, I need to do something to your board, otherwise we pass, and lose. And I think I was afraid that there was going to be more spell casting at that point to where they would kill Dina, and then I would just have a Protein Hulk on field. But I did have a Deadly Rollick in hand. And what I think I should have done is just Deadly Rollicked the wizard so that they couldn't go get the Pact. And then that way, maybe I could have won. But Kinnan had so much mana that if they were the ones that were drawing on non-creature, so they couldn't have cast something. But if the Displacer Kitten, like the Rogthras player, had anything, Dina was going to get blown up. So I'm just like, this isn't great. Probably I should have Deadly Rollicked, while the Flicker was on the stack. I don't really think it would have mattered. I let them go get the Pact, and then they counter the natural order, but they have a Seedborn Muse on their side of the field. And they're basically saying like, hey, I have to pay the Pact on my turn. I'm basically going to have to pay the Pact, tap out. But this way, I'll untap on Kinnan's turn, and I can stop people from winning. And in my head, I'm like, you're gonna stop people from winning by winning on the stack. You know, like you're flush. You have so much stuff. So we pass to them. I let them pay the pact, get to their end step, and I'm like, hey, I want to pause the game right here. And I show that I have a Deadly Rollick, and I look at the Timna Malcolm player. I'm like, can I make a deal with you that if I kill the Seedborn, you'll send the 2 damage that comes from Kinnon's draw at Kinnon to kill Kinnon. That way, this guy's tapped out. He doesn't have a Seedborn Muse. Kinnon is kind of gone because they have to pay 4 to get back Kinnon, so they're going to spend their turn on that. Me and you come out ahead here. And they were like, yeah. And then the Rogthras players like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should let me untap, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you just pacted my spell. You know, like, I was like, not that I'm spite playing, but like, your board is insane. Like you had basically said that you were going to let the Displacer Kitten die, but then you flickered it anyway on my end step and it didn't die. And then you untapped with like crazy value and you're going to try to win on top of the pack trigger. You just decided not to because you were going to untap on Kinnon's turn. And he was like, no, just let me get this 1 untap on Kinnon's turn. And I was like, you are not part of this conversation. Like, respectfully, you're not part of this conversation. I have made a deal with the Timna Malcolm player. I've seen their hand. All they have is a mystical tutor. And they were like, well, they could go get Doomsday with that and win. And I was like, they're not running Doomsday. Like, you know, like, and I was like, and if so, we're going to remove Kinnon. Kinnon will have mana up for a counter. And the guy keeps talking. I was just like, again, respectfully, you have a Seedborn Muse. This spell is on the stack. Do you pass? And the Kinnon's just over there laughing. And he's like, I need more guys like you in my pod. And like his Kinnon's just like died and he's happy about it. So we kill the Seedborn Muse. He didn't have anything. He stays tapped out. Kinnon goes. They don't really have anything. Malcolm Timna goes. They do some stuff. They don't really have anything. They pretty much say like, I can push for a win, but if anybody shows me a single counter, I'm not going to, because I'll have to decimate my board to even do it. And they were like, yeah, I have a counter. You know, Kinnon had the counter now that he had the mana. So he was just like, we could pass to Dina. I think Dina could do a lot of stuff. Rogthras, you're kind of out of it, not to be mean, but like your board is just gone, you know, with all the Orcish Bowmaster pings, like their board was just gone, which, I mean, they were off to the races. We had to trim them down. And I'm looking at my hand and I'm just like, if I could draw a card, I might still be able to push again, but it would really have to depend what's on top. I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, honestly, I still think Rogthras is going to win. If I like take my turn, he's like, I'm not going to win. I would tie. And I was looking at my board and I was just like, could I tie after I draw? And they were like, no, they're like, the tie's on the stack right now. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. I'll just draw. And then I was like, you mind if I look after we've all agreed to draw? And we shook on it. And they were like, yeah. And I like looked and it was a basic forest. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't doing anything in this game. So 4-seat Dina, I got a tie in round 4. So I'm sitting at 8 points, still undefeated in 4 rounds.
So I think at this point I'm at 2.
Yeah.
I go into round 4 and I'm seat 2. I'm ecstatic. I'm out of seat 4. I have a full pod. Like the cereal is correct now.
Yeah.
And
you have a full stomach.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. And seat 1 is Malcolm something. I can't remember if it's Malcolm Vile or Malcolm Timna. I want to say it's Timna, but I'm not 100. me seat 2 is Kennen. There's a seat 3 Kennen, and there's a seat 4. I don't know if I just think I played so many Rog Thrasses, but I think this was a Rog Thrass.
There was a ton. I had a minimum of 1 in every single match. Like,
that said, I have played with this other Kennen multiple times. Granted, it wasn't on a Kennen, so knowing the person though, I doubted that this Kennen was an NBC list. I felt like it was big flips. Later to find out, definitely big flips. Like, there was a Jenga Taxis on the field at one point. Coma hit the field. Like, I am struggling in this game, and I look over and I resolved a Hyphae Trickster at some point. Maybe I flipped it, or I don't remember exactly, but it was on the field. And I look at everybody on the field and I'm like, hey, or everybody on the game, and I'm like, I've got to be somewhat of a problem. Like, I'm to a point where you guys are outvaluing me. The other Kennen is just getting bananas. Like, we're looking at a Jenga Tax. There was 2 Jenga Taxes at one point. Somebody cloned it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cast my spell. And y'all don't like it? Cool. You do like it? Cool. Whatever. So I cast a Nature's Rhythm for 6.
yeah.
And I'm like, they were like, well, what happens with 6? It's a Seedborn, right? Like, he's going to get Seedborn. And I'm like,
That's a Consecrated Sphinx.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can promise you it's not a Seedborn. I don't run Seedborn.
Seedborn is 5. Yeah.
And they were like, well, what can it be? And I was like, does it resolve?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I can't think of what it could be. And I was like, it's a Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah, 100%.
And they were like, oh, no. They were like, we need to get rid of this Consecrated Sphinx immediately. I was like, there is a Jenga Texas on the field.
Yeah.
Like, can we figure this out first?
Yeah. If you guys had removal, it would have been on the Jenga Taxis. Yeah.
No, you would think so.
Yeah.
You would think that was the case. Get sorted like turn 2 or like one turnaround, like, or so. I drew like 4 cards, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Like, whatever. We get around a few more turns, and the Kennen is just, like I said, just going. Crazy cards on the field. We're looking at Coma. He's tapping down creatures. There's lots of stuff going down. We get to the final, like, rotation. Like, everybody knows this is a final rotation.
Yeah, I'm not getting another turn.
I get out a Hullbreaker Horror, and I'm like, Hullbreaker? They're like, we've got to stop the Hullbreaker. And I'm like, I mean, we all kind of agreed that we're not going to tie here. Like, we were getting to a point where the tie, at this point, if we were to win one game, having 8 points and having 7 points is pretty close either way it goes. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we both make it to day 2, or you both make to day 2. One, I don't think really, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And you're looking for your invitation day 2.
I'm at 2 points.
Yeah.
So, I put out the Hullbreaker. The stack goes bananas. They stop it. We pass to Kennen. Kennen gets some more value out. I help kind of trim him down a little. We go to the Rog Thrass player, and they're like, I'm really out of this game. I'm going to pass. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I get a turn. Maybe there's a chance. We go into the Timna, I think it was Timna Malcolm's game. And there was like 3 or 4 coils, the coma coils.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we need to tap down Malcolm and you need to tap down Timna.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, well, it only stops activated abilities. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but can we please tap down those 2 creatures so that they don't swing? And they were like, but it's activated ability. I'm like,
yes.
I was like, cool.
The tap is what I care about. Yeah.
They were like, I'm going to tap down the Mox, some like 2 pieces of mana. They had like 6 lands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's fair. What I don't, free game. I gave my input. Input was rejected. That's fine.
Yeah.
Malcolm swings in and does a clean Malcolm line, like just straight, whatever the little line is where it creates the treasure. The treasure does the thing.
Are you talking about Glinthorn?
It wasn't Glint. There was another piece to it, but it's similar.
Okay.
It's the effect, I guess.
Is it the tapper that every time something enters, it untaps, and then you tap, make treasures?
Yeah. So it was.
Okay.
So what it was infinite treasures into extort.
Yeah.
Into extort. So it was blind obedience, extort.
Okay.
Clean infinite treasures, extorting. I'm like, well, we lost. And so now I am 2 losses,
4 rounds,
2 draws.
Yeah, we have one round left for you to get your win in for the day 2 invite. So I go to my table, and I'm usually kind of the first person there at the table because I'm like pretty on top of my notifications. I go to my table. It's table 3, and I'm like, oh, I guess I've been doing pretty good today. And the judge is there, and he's standing at the table. Doesn't say anything to me, just stands at the table. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm seat 3, you're kind of in the way. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, cool. And then he was like, oh, sorry, you're the featured match. And like, to be fair, I'm mentally gone. Like I'm assuming they're there too, and I'm like, oh. And what's funny is between rounds, me, you, and then our friend that we brought, we had found out that there was this amazing meat place, and we had a reservation for 8. And the match was supposed to start at 6, so we were all like, we'll definitely have time because it's 2 hours. These are 80-minute rounds. Unless we all go into overtime, we should be able to go and get meat. Yeah. And it was a Toop in New Orleans. And like, this is flash forwarding to the future a little bit. Fantastic.
Delicious.
One of the best platters meats I've ever had. Like every time in New Orleans, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back there. One of the clever impersonators told us to go there.
I was gonna say, can we name drop them?
Yeah. And they were right. It was really good. So I'm the featured match. We're mulligan up. We're getting our mics on. I'd always wondered why we were going to like 30, 40 minutes past time. It takes a long time to get those featured matches set up because you have to take pictures. You have to mulligan, take pictures of your hands. Give the commentators time to look at the hands to kind of really understand what's going on. You gotta get mic'd up, and it takes a while. So we do our mulligans, we get mic'd up. I have an okay hand. If you guys want to watch this match rather than hear me talk about it, or you want to watch it after, it's the end of the Boyle 2026 day 1. So it was round 5. So it was the last one of the day. It starts about like an hour in. So we get there, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is taking a while. I want meat. So it's me on Dina, seat 1. And then I have a husband and wife team that they're streamers, and I don't really know the name of their channel. You know the name of their channel? It's like Drake Academy, right? Or
something like that. Yeah.
So it's
actually watch those guys.
Yeah. Seat 2 on Malcolm File Smasher, seat 3 on Timna Thrasios, and seat 4 on Blue Farm. And spoiler alert, that Blue Farm was in the top 4. They all had 12 points, and I was seat 1 because I had 8 points. So I was beating myself up a little bit about not being a little bit more aggressive in my round 4 and trying to at least get my chances for a win. But if I would have not tied there, I probably wouldn't have gotten a feature match. And I look at my hand, and in the Discord, we'd been talking about Heartwood Storyteller. And I was like, that looks great. That's going in Dina. I look at my hand. I can jam a seat 1, turn 2 Heartwood Storyteller. And I'm looking at this table and I'm just like, is that what I should do? And I'm like, I don't really see me getting a win at this table. Like there's so many good players here, and me included because of my performance. But I'm looking at my hand, and I'm just like, man, I don't really want to go down to 6. This is good enough. I'll get a Heartwood Storyteller. I do have a hand full of non-creature spells, but like they're all parts of a combo, and I don't have the other part. And I'm off to the races. Like, get my Heartwood out. Everybody tries to play around it. There was a Taro that fell on Blue Farm, and I was like, man, my turn 2 isn't very good, but I did have a Talon Gates, so I was like, I'll phase out his Taro for a turn. That way, they don't amass any value from it, and then on top of it, we get some card draws. No one plays into it. They're kind of sandbagging, which is good for me. I get to my turn. I just start amassing lots of mana. I tutor out. I play Mox Diamond. I tutor out my Guy's Cradle to the field. I have a ton of mana. I drop the new elf. I always forget his name. That whenever he enters, you discard a card, and then you can go get a creature. And I try to drop Collector Oof, and they're like, the person that's on Malcolm File Smasher is like, if that resolves, I'm literally out of the game. I have to counter it. And then the other guys are like, we kind of want that to land though. So they're thinking about doing a counter war. Seat 4, Blue Farm, did a Grand Abolisher turn and passed. The only thing that I've fed with the Heartwood Storyteller is my Mox Diamond. So I'm in a pretty good position where I have a lot of card draw. I was thinking about going and getting Protein Hulk with the creature tutor, but I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I go get Protein Hulk, and then everybody knows that if it gets to my turn, I just win. Like that's not a good play. So we're playing, and like we're about like an hour in, and Malcolm File Smasher's like, this game has gone kind of off the rails. I don't think I can win. I'm not really wanting to tie because I'm in a very leading position. And then seat 3 is like, hey, I can pop this Culling Ritual. If you guys show me three pieces of interaction, I won't do it. And they're like, well, we're not going to show you our hands. So they're like, okay, cool, Culling Ritual on the stack. And they're fighting. Everybody's drawing cards from the Heartwood Storyteller. Heartwood Storyteller is basically when you cast a non-creature spell, all of your opponents have a fish. So like they draw a card. We're kind of going back and forth. We're looking at Blue Farm's turn with the Grand Abolisher. I'm kind of wanting the Culling Ritual to go through because I'm not really losing much outside of a Collector Oof and a Mox Diamond, and it would hit a Grand Abolisher. The stack gets so crazy that they're just like, hey, I think we should tie here. Like, this game has kind of gone off the rails, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, if I had a win in hand, I don't think I would agree to the tie unless they literally showed me 2 wins on the stack. I'm kind of in a parasitic position where I'm letting everybody take care of everything else, so I don't have too much to say as far as a tie. I'm not really on my turn going to be able to push anything that like would stop me. Like everything that I could do to push would just get counterspelled. And I'm not going to hope that just no one has a counterspell in like 4 draws. Because it's 12 draws between my opponents, which I would put out Dina and I would sack it, but then I'd have less mana, so I couldn't push. So I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at the Grand Abolisher on Blue Farm's field, and I just hear stake. And I'm just like, you know what? And I look at my watch, and it's like 7:25, 7:30, and I'm like, I'll tie here. You know, I was in a pretty leading position on stream. I feel pretty good about it. I got to play a Heartwood Storyteller. It was a fun match. I don't really feel like there would be... I feel like if I don't tie here, Blue Farm just kind of wins eventually. There wasn't a lot that I could really do at the end of the day. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, I'd really like to play this out longer, especially because we're on stream. But I do feel like me going undefeated day 1 is really good. I'm ending the day at 9 points. I get to go get steak. I didn't want to lose our reservation, so I was like, I'm not saying I'm doing this for the steak in my head, but it's definitely the thing that's really the catalyst for me to agree. So I agreed. And really kudos to the husband and wife team, because I really thought that... So it was husband, wife, and then one of their good friends. So I was the odd man out, like very obviously. And the husband and wife team, they could have definitely teamed up and been like, well, one of us is winning, and like I don't care who, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. It was a very fair match. I was the problem the entire time, but I kind of knew I was going to be the problem, being the odd one out anyway. So I was like, if I'm going to be perceived as the problem, I'll just be the problem. You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody played very respectfully. I really appreciated that the husband and wife team didn't just like play two-headed giant the entire time. So yeah, that's my round 5. So I'm ending day 1 at 9 points.
Oh, I get up from my table. Seat round 4, 2 points. I look at my message. I look at my message and I'm seat 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
your notification from Top Deck.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, that's rough. I get to the table and we're all kind of putting our stuff out, and I'm looking at the decks and like calculating my chances here, right? Like I'm like,
and you have to win. You don't get a day 2 invite if you don't win.
We're all sitting, and before we even put out cards, we're like, hey, can we agree that there's no scenario that we draw?
Yeah,
like we're playing this game out.
We're all keeping hands that win. Yeah.
I look at everybody. I'm like, of course. Like this is it. Win or lose. Like I've played some of these people before. One is from our extended local. The other is been in a lot of tournaments that I've played before.
It was all great competition. Like, yeah.
I'm at 2 points. I'm like, oh, like, please help me. I sit down. Seat 1 is Blue Farm. Seat 2 is Blue Farm. Seat 3 is Joyra. And like we sit down and shuffle up, we get our mulligans, and I'm like, hey, you know, not to be that guy, but if you guys have never played this Joyra, it is very awkward and very strange, but very consistent. Like, and
Joyra just puts things down. There's no casting.
And to be fair, like the player was like, I really enjoy this deck, and you're not wrong. Like, I'm like, I know, I've been in a couple of pods where, there's nothing to counter. Things just happen. We're just in trouble. I look at my hand and it's mildly gas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I can work with this. I pretty much damper seat 1 immediately. Seat 2 mulligan down to like 4 cards.
Yeah.
Just out of it. And Joyra is takes time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say that it can't win early, but it takes a minute.
It puts free things out, but it does take a while to get there. Like,
so I end up putting a heavy value piece. I think it was like a fish. Seat 1 plays into the fish. I'm getting card draw. I end up getting, and again, this was my last game of the day, so I don't remember play by play. I do remember resolving a Consecrated Sphinx at some point, and I had quite a bit of mana. The Joyra was kind of banking on the fact that they played a Grafdigger's Cage, that it was going to stop me.
yeah.
And that they're One Ring, which Consecrated Sphinx, I will outdraw you.
Yeah.
They into the Flood Maul my Kennen because they see me trying to win on top of the next Blue Farms thing. And I'm like, okay, you got it. And I tap and I cast Kennen because I resolved a High Fate Trickster.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could just cast Kennen here. I have Basalt Monolith on the field. Like, I try to cast a few spells to get out Thrasios. And there was no searches. No, it wasn't that there was no searches. There was the Grafdigger. So
Yeah,
I couldn't.
You couldn't Kennen for it. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't Nature's Rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
So I was trying to Nature's Rhythm it to the field. Everybody passed on it. The second Blue Farm player's like, great, does nothing.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're so right.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it. I play a few other spells. I noticed that certain things aren't getting countered. And I'm like, okay, guys. Here is a Wanshi Tong. I'm going to put enough to pull my hand in. I'll win instant speed.
Yeah.
Everybody cool with that? And they were like, you got it.
Yeah,
I was like, I won this seat 4.
Seat 4, last round, you get your invite today too.
And I look over and I see the guy, I see Cryptid standing like at the table across from us, like dead staring at me. And I see our buddy like pointing at his watch. And he's like,
yeah,
food time.
He did not make it today too. But I mean, he brought Urza, and he had just kind of put it together. And I mean, Urza's really good, but there was a lot of good competition at the boil. I was very grateful to get 9 points on Dina of all commanders and undefeated day 1. Then we went and we had steak, and it was delicious. Did you have anything to wrap up about day 1, or can I go into day 2?
We were. It was an exhausting day. We get to the end, and I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to be very realistic here. What this means for me going into day 2 is I have to win both games, which is.
I also was in there with 9 points. Like
win both games.
I didn't feel like 14 or 15 got me anywhere.
Yeah, no. Win both. Pray that you make it.
And there was a redemption event. So a lot of the people that did not make it to day 2 went to the redemption event, and a lot of people that barely made it were like, I'm going to play round 6 on day 2. And if I lose that, I'm going to drop and play the redemption event. It was like $50 to go in the redemption event, and the prizes were pretty good.
And there was like probably like 60 to 70 people, if not 100.
Some of the big streamers were in the redemption event because they did not do as well as me and you, which I was just like, I got 9 points on Dina, and some of these like tournament grinders didn't make it today too. But there's 268 people, so like it was tough. Like it was well earned on both of our sides. So I go into round 1 and I'm like, all right, I gotta win both. Like I'm going against people that have earned their spot. You know, we're all at 9 points. Maybe we all tied quite a bit, but like we gotta win. You know, like we're going in this saying, hey, we gotta win. There is no tie. So I sit down, 4th seat flips. It's Rocco, and they're part of like a kind of big, like Eastern, like Southeastern group of like Magic the Gathering players, Lemon Pepper Wet, which we saw in Atlanta. So I was like, oh, hey, you guys are back. So Rocco seat 4, and I'm like, well, I'll flip Dina. Seat 2 flips Atali, and I'm just like, oh no, this is a no blue pod. And then the seat 1, they're a little late. They sit down, they flip, and I see Heliod, but they have like kind of a interesting art. And I was like, there's no blue at this table. They're like, no, I'm Wheeliod. I'm the white blue. And I was just like, oh man, you're in seat 1, but you're the only blue player.
Yeah, there's no hope on that.
And I'm looking at my hands. First 7 sucks. Second 7, no lands. 6, not great. I can piece it together. I've got to turn 1 mana dork. I have some stuff to do. I'm not feeling this round. And I know I have to win. And I'm just like, I could go down to 5. I don't really think that's smart for me to do in this pod. Like 6 is a good setup, and we can go from there. And I kind of have things to stop Rocco, and I kind of have things to stop Atali. So we do our first turn. Atali's kind of setting up. Rocco's kind of setting up. We get to Wheeliod. Turn 2, they time twister. So I literally had just said like, oh, you know, Deathrite Shaman stocks are going up because there was 5 lands in graveyards because of Mox Diamonds and cracks. And they time twister it all away. And our hands, everything. We get a new 7. And they set up and they do pretty well. And I'm just looking at my hand and I'm just like, I got a Deathrite Shaman that doesn't tap for any mana now. Like, I really hope that Atali plays into it. Atali didn't get a good 7. Passes pretty much. Like, I think they play a City of Traders and then they pass. And I'm just like, okay, well, I have a mana dork that I dropped turn 1 that doesn't do anything anymore. I play a land. I'm looking at my hand and I have a Culling the Weak and I have an Adnaz. So I'm like, my hand's not great, but I can kind of surprise everybody with an Adnaz and load up my hand and maybe I win. Wheeliod is kind of a mass in value. They're getting quite a lot of cards. I don't feel great about being the first one to kind of jam interaction, but like to jam something that would need interaction. Rocco's setting up mana dorks. They have 6 mana. I'm kind of telling everybody, I was like, hey, you know, if they have 7, 8 mana next turn, they probably will win. Gets to Atali's turn. They're still kind of dead in the water. They're not really doing too much. On their end step, I Culling the Weak, my Deathrite Shaman, and Wheeliod's like, are we seeing an Adnaz? Turn 2 Adnaz? And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not really my hand getting sent away and all of everything, all the graveyards going away. It's not really leaving me much else. Like, this is my only hope. And they were like, I would really suggest you not to fire off an Agnos. And I was just like, I get it. I'm listening to you. I literally have nothing outside of this Agnos. So I put it on the stack and they commandeer it. And they're just like, I didn't have a counter, but I can commandeer it. And everybody at the table is like, I don't know if this is good for Wheelie Odd to have an Adnaz. And, we can't do anything about it. They're the only blue player. And Wheelie Odd's like, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I run some big stuff in my deck. So they start resolving my Adnaz and they hit Force of Will. Or no, they hit like some big counter spell. So they go way low. They hit Coveted Jewel or whatever, the 6 mana jewel that draws cards and they give it to somebody. They basically draw 5 cards and go down to 4. And they're like, I shouldn't have been so greedy, but I mean, I had an Adnaz. I could have just revealed the top card, but if you get an Adnaz, you got to do it right. Like, and they hit, a lot of big stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, that's lame. What can I do here? So I play Dina, I have the not good Essence Warden. I only gain a life whenever my stuff comes in, like Verdant Emissary or something like that. That card has been cut since, but I play it. I play Dina. I gain life. Everybody takes a damage. Wheelie Odd's down to 3. And I look at the 2 red players and I'm like, please tell me one of y'all has like a bolt or something like that. But we're looking at Rocco, and Rocco has 2 damage on board. So they could do at least 2 damage if they swing. We go over to Rocco's turn. They play a Grand Abolisher. And we're like, oh. And they're kind of looking at me, and I'm just like, well, Grand Abolisher just means that they pretty much are going to win. And the Wheelie Odd player is like really worried that they're just going to die, like through combat. So they use the last of their mana to play a Fairy Mastermind so that they don't die through combat. And we let the Grand Abolisher resolve. Rocco plays a Food Chain. They have enough mana that they can sack everything but the Grand Abolisher, go get Squee, win. And I'm looking at my field and I'm just like, if this was an Essence Warden, he could not win because he could not keep casting Squee over and over. I'd drain the table, and I'm just like, oh, I really wish they would print 2 Essence Wardens, but it is what it is. And Wheelie Odd looks at the Food Chain the moment that it hits the table, and they just go completely white. And they like hide their face in their hands, and they're like, I had the Disrupting Shoal. I completely forgot Disrupting Shoal was like a spell. So I could have countered the Grand Abolisher. I could have countered the Food Chain, and I had Win in hand, like even at 3 life. And like, they're just like, I can't believe I missed this. I can't believe I misplay. And like, they're like beating themselves up for a good 2 or 3 minutes. And like the Rocco player is like putting out his hand to like agree to a draw. And we agree to the draw, and the Wheelie Odd player's like really upset. And I looked at their score, and they were at like 13 or something like that. So if they would have won, they would have had 18 points. So I get it. And they lost the next 2 rounds. So like they didn't get into top 16. Rocco gets it. We're done pretty early. I'm looking at my score. I'm looking at the boards. I don't think 14 gets in. Everybody's asking me between rounds if I'm going to do the redemption event. I'm like, no, I came to do the boil. I'm going to finish the boil. Like, Dina needs some love. I'm thinking if next round I win, I'm probably in top like 60, top 40, and Dina's a little bit higher and more people will see her. So I'm like, I'm gonna stay in. I want people to see that Dina could do well at one of these tournaments. And let's go over to your round now.
So with all of that being said, it's pretty clear now.
Yeah, someone did go to top 16.
What's happened? So I get to my pod, I look around. We are just wonderful pod. Like I can't. It's not even the commanders. Like the people themselves, just great conversation. We're sitting there, we're cracking jokes. It's early morning. God, I don't even remember. I know there was a Rogsai. I can't remember the other two players, but I believe they were close to my colors. So I believe it was like maybe like a Thrasio something deck. I don't think it was red though.
You got a Kinnan in your round, right?
Not in this last one.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
I thought you did.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the colors were the same, I think. So it was Kinnan. I think it was Kinnan. I was seat 2. Rogsai. Yeah. Kinnan, Rogsai, Blue Farm. Thank you. I was like, those colors, I remember having similar cards. I have a pretty mid hand. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was great. I remember looking at it and being like, if I mulligan, I'm going to get nothing. This is okay. We go around, the mulligans keep going, and Rog is like, I'm going to 3. We're like, all right, pre-games. Rog's like, I got one. Mm-hmm. Had 1 card.
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune.
It's like, this is my gameplay.
Yeah.
Down to 1 card. Blue Farm is like maybe like 5 or 6 cards. The first player kept first hand. Like, I'm like, oh no. Yeah. We get going. The first seats, Kinnan is pretty mid, like just in general pieces, maybe a couple of rocks. I start developing my board, and it's like my first few draws are decent mana. Like I had enough to cast like a Kinnan and then get the mana out. And I was like, this will make something happen. I end up drawing another Nature's Rhythm and resolving it for 6 and getting a consecrated on the field that lasts 2 turns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're in it to win it.
Yeah.
Now they weren't drawing extra cards, so it was just the 2/4. It was an extra 6.
I mean, I was about to say 6 a turn, so extra 12 cards is really.
Yeah. Well, if there's like a Ristic study or something, you can get into like 15 cards a turn.
Yeah.
Right. This was only like the bare bones of what you can get for your Consecrated Sphinx at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, we need to remove it. Don't really have much to do with it. I tried to resolve a Basalt, and I thought I had enough protection. Did not. Ended up countering it. I had so many draws on the stack. Like each time the Kinnan played, somebody played something. There was a draw engine, and I ended up with a stack of like 6 to 7 Consecrated Sphinx triggers.
Yeah.
On the stack. And
so it's like, well, I got my stuff countered, but I've got 7 draws now.
Yeah, well, no, seven triggers. So it was like 14 cards in hand.
Oh, wow.
So it was 7 triggers, but 2 cards each. So we went into it that way. When I looked at my hand, I was like, we'll just Hullbreaker. Like I have a Hullbreaker, I have mana, I can go infinite with Hullbreaker, and I tried to draw everybody out. they tried to show me some more, like,
Are you mastermind?
yeah,
Yeah.
tried to show me some more counters, and I was like, I'll just counter whatever you're countering. Like, I've got plenty of counters here. What else? Like, I'm down to my last counter, and the Kennon's like, that's it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
I was like, our stack was like, I probably cast 15, 16 spells that turn.
Yeah, you have the stack. You put a picture of the stack in the Discord. Yeah.
And they all looked, and it was like, yeah, the Rog size, like, this is the card I tutored for, because they had tutored the turn before.
Yeah.
And it was like a land.
Oh yeah, Rocksai's not doing anything.
They're done.
Yeah.
The blue farm is like, I have a counter, but I don't have any mana. And the Kennon's like, well, I mean, I did everything I could. That was all I had. You got it. And I'm like, I've won one. So I get up and I'm like, all right, I'm at 12 points now.
Yeah. So you overtake me in that first round. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Still very humble. I'm like, I've got to win this next one. You know, this is the chances of me winning 2 back-to-back is pretty high.
Well, we're also looking at,
or lower,
the in between rounds. We're kind of looking at the numbers, and I don't really try to look at the numbers. I was even telling you, like, don't think about the numbers. Just think about getting in and winning, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. If you won both rounds, you won both rounds. Whatever's going to happen happens. Yeah. But we're like kind of looking at it, and we're like, the person that you based your deck on, you did better than them, and you were currently the highest rated Kinnan at the boil, which was really cool. I go into my last round, and really I'm just playing it, I guess, for fun. Like, of course I want to win, but I get the notification and I'm seat 4, and I'm like, oh, okay. So we have Magda in seat 1, who is like one of my friends. We play quite a bit. We were in a top 4 last year, and like we were even talking about that top 4. They're in seat 1. We've got Rog Ishai on seat 2. This is the winner of Frenzy at the Falls in seat 2. We have Wandering Minstrel on seat 3, and he claims to be the one that like created the first list that people use with the Wandering Minstrel, and he's like real big on brewing. He was elated to see Dina. He was just like, you got 9 points on her? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, how does she win? And I was like, maybe I'll show you. And then I'm on Dina in seat 4, and it's just a mess. Magda is just running crazy. I have the ability to natural order, and I'm like, I'm keeping this hand. Turn 2, turn 3, I can try to push a win. Magda keeps their second 7, and the next person goes down to 6. And the moment they say I go down to 6, they were like, wait, I need to mulligan this. And we were kind of like, we're just kind of playing for fun, but like, call a judge, because he already said that he's going down, so you have information you shouldn't have. Judge comes over, and judge is like, yeah, you can't. And apparently they were looking at a Grafdigger's Cage, but they had the full art, and they thought it was a land. They thought it was like Treasure Vault or something. And I didn't know this at the time, but they don't have a land in their opening hand. So they go to their draw, top deck a mountain. Mountain, 1 cost dwarf, pass. They're over the moon. We all play Rogishai. I know that deck has 24% conversion. I've never seen it pop off. I don't know what it does. It might be because I have a lot of things that are uncounterable, like Abrupt Decay is uncounterable. I can kind of take Rhystic Study out from under them. I've got a lot of enchantment removal. And maybe that's why it's just Dina trims that deck so well, but they're not really doing much. They're not amassing much value. The Wandering Minstrel player, just sending it, like milling all kinds of stuff. I think it was Hedron Crab was their one drop, and they're just like, laying a bunch of extra lands, milling themselves. It's pretty crazy. Turn 2, I set up with Dina, and I keep a mana open for interaction, and I'm just like, okay, I've got Natural Order on my next turn. I can push a win. They drop the Grafdigger's Cage, Magda, on their second turn because they're like, I might as well get it out of my hand. It's pretty good against, everybody here. Like, it stops Underworld Breach, stops Wandering Minstrel from doing a bunch of stuff. And then Wandering, like, everybody sets up more. And I'm looking at my hand and I'm just like, if he didn't randomly cast this Grafdigger's Cage, I'd just win right here. Like, I would put a win attempt. But it was a win attempt that looked pretty safe, especially through what was resolving. And I didn't really think Raga Ishai had much. Come to find out, they did have a Chain of Vapor, but I think they drew it after my turn. So Magda sets up. I look at their board and I'm like, Magda has 5 treasures and an artifact dwarf. So, like, this is win. Like, they're passing right now, but this is win. Ragashai sets up a little bit more. Wandering Minstrel sees that Magda's is pretty set up and then just decides to send it. Sacks all of their lands, gets an Aftermath Analyst, and is trying to, like, bring their lands back. And on the ability, Magda's like, well, if you're about to win, I'm just on top of you going to try to win. And I'm just like, I get it. I get sending it, but why? Why would you do that when you know Magda's just going to win on top? And I'm kind of watching everything go down. And in my head, I'm just like, it was a Magda with 5 treasures and an artifact dwarf. Like, what's going to happen here? And Ragashai, they have counters, but they don't really have much to do. On the Magda trigger, they show them that they have a Chain of Vapor. And they're like, hey, can I convince you to not get win? Can I convince you to get something that stops the Wandering Minstrel? And they're looking at the Chain of Vapor and they're like, I think I can just play through it. Like, I can just activate everything on top. And I really should have spoken up because when the Magda activation happened, I knew on the activation we should remove something, not wait for the activation to happen and resolve. But it was I'm not really good. Like, it was a friend. We do tournaments pretty often. I've been kind of trying to get out of the, hey, I know this person's deck list. Let me tell you how to immediately shut them off. And I also didn't have win in my hand either. Like, I could have tried if the Grafdigger's Cage was gone, but, like, it wasn't going to be gone. I probably could have done better politics, but we were just playing for fun at this point anyway. And, like, anything that I would have done would have just been like, hey, I know this person's deck list in and out. This is how you snip them right now. I just told him that there was five treasures and a artifact dwarf, and it was kind of on them to deal with it. Magda's goes, yeah, I can play through the Chain of Vapor, goes and gets their stuff, does their stuff, plays through the Chain of Vapor, GG, they win. I look at my top card, and it's a Boseiju. So I could have removed the Grafdigger's Cage and just won on my turn. But I was just like, that's how it is, whatever. Fun event, really good. I ended up with 9 points, so I went undefeated day 1, which crazy to say on Dina, undefeated day 1 at the Boil. It was a lot of ties. I wish there would have been more wins, but I mean, still very happy with that performance. I played a little bit more conservatively than I probably should. I was a little bit intimidated by the amount of skill that we saw there, but I mean, at the same time, me and you were kicking butt alongside with everybody. So, they should have been equally as intimidated against me. So I think next time I'm really going to send it more often. That's kind of my takeaway. Just don't play conservatively and get a tie. Try to really send it when you can, when it makes sense. Like, really find your windows and don't hope for another turn because you're probably not going to get it. Like, find your window, push a win, GG. And that is the end of my run at the boil. So I'll let Ghost take over.
So I'm going into this next one. I get the message on Top Deck that I'm seat 1. I'm like, sweet. I get to my seat. I sit down and I'm looking at everybody there. Seat 4 I've played with quite a bit. Very skilled player. He's a Rogthras player. Multiple top 4s and I think even some wins. Like, solid player. I look to my left, which is seat 2. It's a Sisse. I look at seat 3. It's a Kinnan. And again, Rogthras is seat 4. I keep a hand that has a commandeer. That was my play. I could Kinnan. I was praying to draw some stuff, maybe to hit a Ristic. I mean, it's usually a 50-50 shot if you're playing NBC or if you're doing big flips. I would actually say it's like a 60-40. Like, NBC is pretty...
I mean, somebody's going to drop a Ristic.
Pretty up there. I didn't really feel like I was going to get much from Rogthras or from Sisse. Maybe Sisse.
Yeah, they're just dropping a lot of creatures usually.
Put out my land. Put like a 1 rock and pass. Sisse dumps half of their hand, and I'm like, oh no,
like, this is bad. Yeah.
Kinnan drops a few cards, like a couple of rocks and such, and like cast Kinnan, I think, something like that. Rogthras dumps the entire hand, just about, like 2 cards left. Mana, like, creature, just sent it.
Yeah.
And I look at Kinnan. I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to be that guy, but seat 2, seat 4 in crazy positions. Draw my card, put it out, cast a Kinnan. Kinnan's out.
You were seat 1?
Yeah, seat 1.
Nice. Okay.
Right? Did I say something wrong?
No, I just forgot.
Yeah. Put Kinnan out, pass the turn. Granted, still holding Commandeer.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'll get something. Maybe it's a tutor. Like maybe I get a free, enduring vitality at this point.
Or Nature's Rhythm.
Yeah, something like. Yeah, I can't take an enduring, but I could take like a Nature's Rhythm for enduring.
Yeah.
Sisse plays a couple cards, passes the turn. Kinnan looks around, drops a couple of things, puts up Assault Monolith on the stack. Thrasios and Sisse kind of like lose it. They're like, I don't have anything for that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking and I'm like,
I got something for it.
I was like, I've got a response. And granted, I had absolute poo in hand. Like, I think I had a land, a rock, and like a Hyphae Trickster. Like, this Basalt Monolith was doing nothing if it hit my field this turn.
Yeah.
Like, until my turn. And then on my turn, I'm looking at
a flip.
A flip.
Yeah, a flip and a Hyphae.
Politics go deep when I put this Commandeer on the field. The Kinnan's like, he's going to win here. I was like, you just tried to play it. First off, I'm not ready to win with.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to win. I would assume you are ready to win.
Better somebody that has no bullets have a gun than someone have a gun that has all the bullets. Like,
and the Thrasios is like, hey, I'm sorry, the Rogthras is like, hey, I have some interaction. I don't want to use it on you. You know, what's your plans here? I was like, to be honest, man, I want to flip once. That's all I got, really.
Yeah.
The Sisei is like, kind of like jerked a hand, like jerked a card, and was like, I don't have anything for this. And I was like, okay. So we took the basalt from here. I still am looking at these two board states that are clearly like one card off, maybe two tops. Thras, Rog Thras was like, I'm just gonna leave up my mana. I'm gonna play, he got a Gaia's Cradle, got his mana, pass the turn. I looked around. I was like, okay. The Sisei player was like, look, I have a dismember here. Is there a reason I shouldn't dismember Kennen at this moment? I was like, to be honest with you, man, like, I'll show you my hand.
Yeah.
Showed the hand. He was like, he has nothing in hand.
Yeah.
Literally gonna do a flip.
A flip and hope. Yeah.
He was like, well, can we agree that all you will do is spin Kennen once? I was like, deal. Immediately.
Yeah.
I played my rock, which, only spin Kennen with this. Not, I was like, even if I don't have a way to draw at the moment, but I will not spin Kennen more than this one time here.
Yeah.
Said cool. Hits down. I do a spin, and I'm holding the cards in hand, and I'm not a shaky person. Like, I don't just shake.
There's times where I'm just like, oh.
And my first card I pick up is Thrasios.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of listening to the Kennen, and he is going in. He's like, all he needs is a Thrasios, and he wins here.
Yeah. That happens for you every single time. Like,
it does not.
Every time I play you, it's like, I'll just get a spin, and it's always Thrasios. And I'm like, I told you guys, like, I don't know how, but like,
put Thrasios to field. The Sisei player is not mad. Not mad. I was like, I looked at him and I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm going to still be able to go through this agreement. A minimum word here.
I'm going to draw my entire deck.
I'll draw my deck and win another way.
Yeah.
I don't need to spin Kennen.
Yeah.
He's like, he's right. I can dismember, but at this point, he's floated 1 billion mana.
Yeah.
I'm going to back up just a little bit. So I did float 1 billion. I was like, I'm going to float 1 billion mana. I was like, maybe I could just do exactly what it is. I was like, actually, it doesn't matter. I'm going to float 1 billion. Like, whatever.
Well, because why not?
Honestly, I was thinking I was going to get like a Land of War Elves. So there was a little bit of a conversation there. I was like, no, I floated 1 billion mana. Because the Rog Thras was like, you said you only had just enough to do this. And I was like, it was talked about, but I would rather, like, I retracted that before the flip was done. I floated 1 billion.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. The Sisei player was like, he did. Like, that's what it was. The Rog Thras was like, I want to see your win. I was like, do you have interaction here? Because whatever you got, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I get it.
If you want to see it, you want to see it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I started doing it. He's like, just show me the win. I was like, I can't necessarily do that because as I'm flipping through, whatever. I need to see it. So I was like, okay, I've got 3 counters here. You have 2 cards in hand. I don't.
Yeah. It's either you concede or I play it out. Like,
And I was like, well, my proposed win here is I'm going to filter my mana and I will cast every creature I have, and then not enduring vitality, Finale of Devastation for 1 billion and swing out.
Yeah.
The other two had already picked up cards.
Yeah,
So I was like, and the Rog Thrass is like, I just wanted to see it. Like, it's cool. I was like, okay, well, you had me have a heart attack almost.
Yeah.
So I get up, I go find Cryptid, and I sit down. I'm like, I have 17 points.
Yeah.
And it felt like the longest rest of the game of the whole time I'd been there.
It took like an hour for them to even come collect you, and then they sat everybody down, made you guys sign contracts, took like pictures galore. Like it took forever. Like,
so sign the W9 for the whatever, get the picture done. They were like, this is the tables 1, 2, 3, whatever, blah blah blah. If you're in this table, you are a featured match. And I was like, oh, okay.
So we both got featured matches. Yeah.
Comes to my phone. I'm like, I'm a featured match.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at.
You earned yours, but we both got one. Yeah.
So I'm just going to go into this featured match. I was on a big hive about this. We sit down, we get all mic'd up, pictures, such and such. Go into this turn. Now this is for top 4. I kept a really solid hand for like the long haul. The opponents were seat 1 Blue Farm, seat 2 Iron Man, which, like, congrats, dude. Like, that's crazy. Me, Kenan in seat 3, and then Rogsai in seat 4. Seat 1 plays like 3 mana and Imp Seals, and that should have been my red flag.
Yeah, I mean, if they had Thassa combo right then, they could have just seat 1 played it.
That's what I thought. Like,
Yeah,
I was thinking, okay, well, there's a Rhystic Study possibly. I kept a hand with another Commandeer, but only 1 blue. So I was like, if I draw a blue card, I'll steal whatever big power play is played here. Because other than that, I've got maybe a rock. Turn 2 Cabbage Man is my play.
Yeah.
And that's a solid play.
Yeah.
Going in with these decks, because there's going to be a lot of spells class. Plays the 3, passes. Iron Man plays a Graph Diggers turn 1, and I'm like, okay, that stops me, but not really. Like, I'm not spinning Kenan. Like,
Also stops Blue Farm if they try to Underworld Breach and Rogsai.
also, yeah.
Yeah.
So passes the turn. I draw a card. Wasn't blue. I progressed my board a little bit. Just a couple cards, I guess. Pass the turn. Rogsai plays a Rhystic Study. It goes around the table. Nobody has anything. Passes. Seat 1, Thassa combos out.
Yeah.
And again, this is streamed.
And they Gataxian probed somebody to check for counters on top of it. Yeah.
Well, they get Gataxian Pro turn 1.
Okay.
Yeah, to the Iron Man.
Yeah.
Which made sense after I thought about it for a minute. But and then that concluded my
Yeah. It was crazy because, like, you guys were signing contracts for your, like, prize money, which I was surprised because, like, I thought I knew that $500 they could just pay out, like per legal, but I think they've probably been doing it so long that they're just like, we need to be on top of it. Yeah.
So when we sat down at the table, they came over as we were sitting there and gave us 2 land cards, and they were like, hey, So I'm giving y'all each 2 land cards. There's a forest and a mountain. There has been an offer to draw or to prize split top 16. So we'll get the amount that you would get here and come back and tell you, but just to think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
No from me.
I was actually okay with it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I was still going to play each game because they wanted us to, and I was like, that's what I really wanted to do anyway.
The difference between 500 and like, what was it, like 3,000 if you won is just so substantial.
Yeah, but you're also talking like 7 or 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we didn't leave too late.
no, but the game.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
end. So we ended. The only reason we left so fast is because I lost turn 2.
Yeah.
Like, we were on the road probably like 20 minutes after.
Yeah, they were playing till 6, and the person that got into top 4 from your pod ended up doing a really risky play because they were like, either win here or I don't. Either way, I've got a flight to catch.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
It was kind of surreal coming back, thinking about everything. I try to stay humble most of the time and just make it like playing with friends, because ultimately a lot of these top players I do consider more than acquaintance, at least.
Yeah.
And I see them a lot.
We went to a 30th birthday party with one in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, just randomly. Like,
yeah. And then we always see our buddy that plays Crick all the time.
oh yeah.
And
Other YouTube groups and stuff like that.
and then the Clever Impersonators were there, and we've known them for a while too.
Yeah.
So that said, it was just a great time. Like, I didn't want to play any more Magic when I got like out of the tournament.
When you were done and you were looking at cards, I was like, I can't look at any cards. I'm just going to sit here and look for food. And then everything was closed, and I got super frustrated. I got like hangry, and then I finally got on the road 20 minutes, and I was like, I've been away from cards for 20 minutes. You want to go to Chili's?
I was right next to that place when you said it. But no, yeah, I mean, I wish the game would have went a little longer. I understand looking back and seeing the Blue Farm play like it was a textbook type of if you're gonna Thassa out play.
Yeah, I mean, even if you would have saw it, like you already had your hand, like what could you have done? Like it was clean. Like,
I mean, I could have, if I would have drawn a blue, which I didn't, I could have took over the decon. But even then, like,
yeah, it was a lot of
if this, then
yeah.
But I mean, just a good time.
I mean, getting a top 16 of the Boyle, and you were the only Kennen in top 16, I believe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, so going back to what we were saying about how everybody was there, I was sitting at the table with everybody, with all of the top 16, because they all set us down, and 2 guys were talking, and they're like, man, Texas came in like, came hard here. Like there's a lot of Texas players at top 16. And I like look left down the table, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I know that person, know this person, know this person, know this person. I've been in top 4s with this person, this person, this person.
I mean, the person that you were in your pod with, we had played in our top 16 match at our little local tournament.
Yeah. And I played.
They're on a different deck, but it was funny because I was like, oh, hey, it was us 3, and then you 2 are in the finals again.
I was sitting down, and I was like, I seen a person that I see all the time. I was like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, I made it to top 16. I was like, you did really well. Like, da-da-da-da. And I looked to the right, and like the Rocco player that was from Dallas.
Colleen. Yeah.
Or Colleen.
Yeah, we played them in Waco.
I was in a top 16 with that person at Crimson Lion.
At TCG Con 2, and yeah.
I was like, like, dang, man, all of these people are everywhere. But yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a tight knit community. A lot of good players. Like nobody, I had no games where it was just, like bad. It was pretty good. I had a couple of games that were a little frustrating, but I mean, that's to happen. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I had fun. I've consistently been in a match with someone that won Frenzy at the Falls. Like, pretty much every time we go to a big tournament, me and them end up at the end together, you know, in a round. I'm consistently playing against people that, you know, normally do really well. And like, I'm not gonna say I don't think of myself as a good player. Like, I wouldn't be going to these things if I didn't think I was a good player, but I think I'm just an all right player. And then I'll enter like Dina, and then I'm like undefeated day one, fighting all these people that are really good at the game with little old Dina. So.
I'm not gonna lie, going the first day, I was like, maybe I'm not as good.
Yeah, you were thinking about swapping a blue farm, and I was like, please don't. Like, I'm so sick of that deck.
I was like, I kind of want to do blue farm because there's so many, like, you draw so many cards with blue farm, and
I would stop playing as much if you went to blue farm. We would not practice as much.
But I do like it. But I was like, man, you know, these tournament, like, I guess my biggest takeaway was get out of seat 4 because I was stuck in seat 4 like 3 games. So, but yeah, like that was mine. I enjoyed it a lot. It was super fun.
Yeah, I mean, top 16 win from you is great. I mean, we really showed up. We did really well. I'm pretty happy that pretty consistently. I mean, we make day 2 every time we enter one of those big tournaments. I don't think we have not made day 2 at one of those tournaments, unless they just randomly flip the rules and they're like, actually, we're just going to do top 16 tomorrow. We don't feel like doing the full 7 rounds. And then it's like, okay, well, we drove to Atlanta for this. Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, I mean, consistently doing good. I'm not going to say it kind of doesn't matter what deck we're on. Like of course it does. But yeah, having a lot of fun. Just doing really well, and we'll be doing more tournaments. We'll be raking more tournaments down for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I will say that I was sitting there about to take the picture for the top 16, and one of the guys that I've played a lot in like some of the North Texas tournaments, he was like, "Who are you on today?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm playing Kennen." You know, he was like, "Man, you switch your deck all the time," and I was like, "I don't feel like that."
No, yeah.
I was like, I maybe have played 8 decks total, maybe. But yeah, it was fun.
I mean, you guys will see the holding priority sleeves in the top 16 match, top 16 feature, and then also I snuck it into my featured match too. So hopefully the podcast gets a little bump from that. And if you guys found us because of the boil, please let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, let us know.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
See ya.